business partners now. Now, Baboyian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, if you looked at your agenda, they only gave me about 15 minutes. I think it was Sal and Francis that must have organized that. I don't pay attention to them anyway. So, I am going to talk about LFS and PPS, how we did in 2014, and maybe more importantly, where we're headed. Now, it says 2015, but we really look at 3 years out, and that's critical for us. I'll start with PPS, with the 2014 results and our strategy for growth. And Toyo mentioned expand our future is the theme internally within CSA this year. And I'll talk a little bit how we're going to do that. First of all, 2014, production printing grew its total revenues by about 6%. Now, please understand, in this business, about 70% of our revenues come from recurring revenues. That's service, toner, inks that are sold in PPS, and over 65% in LFS. So 6% growth in total revenues means that the recurring revenue had to grow, but certainly the corporate revenue had to grow as well. We also were nicely profitable. In fact, the most profitable PPS organization worldwide. So that's nice to contribute those kind of profits to all of PPS worldwide. We also had some strategic wins with some fairly large deals with IWCO, with multiple color streams and jet streams this year. And I think Dave Johannes is with us today from IWCO. Also with the Lightning Source International division of Ingram Publishing with multiple color streams as well in the book printing industry. So IWCO in the direct mail space, big win in the book printing industry with LSI. Also in the transactional arena, a big win at United Healthcare with multiple jet streams there as well. So some nice strategic wins. Also, importantly, we improved productivity. Now, we've also implemented in production printing something called Deal Configurator to help Salesforce get more productive in developing contracts and proposals. But the sales rep productivity is a key component to our growth objectives. This year, the average sales rep in PPS generated around $2.3 million in corporate sales. It's got to grow significantly in the next 3 years. We also, you'll see it tomorrow, we spent, Francis, way too much money on the Media Lab.
More than you thought we would. Sorry.
I gave him an unlimited budget and he exceeded it. And for the Media Lab, so we're really excited about that. Not only does that Media Lab help us in developing medias for the inkjet technology, we actually have worked, in fact, many of our deals this year were customizing medias directly for a customer for them then to enable them to acquire equipment, working with media companies like International Paper and Domtar and Georgia Pacific, for instance. And we won, everybody wins industry awards, but at Explore, at Graph Expo, okay, at the Inkjet Summit again. And maybe most importantly, our customers grew their business. And that's critical. They grew their business between 5 and 6% with us in terms of volume. This past year on production printing digital equipment, 71.5 billion pages were printed this year. And that's a nice growth. It's good to see that our customers are growing again, which is important for our future as well. In terms of market share, the numbers you see on the right, 32% is third quarter. We don't have fourth quarter from Infotrends yet, but we had a very strong close. We estimate we'll probably be at about 35% when the final numbers are in, but we'll wait for those final numbers to find out. And a nice backlog coming into the year, so that's important to us. Okay, so now I want to talk about growth. Now, when we talk about expand the future, for PPS, that growth has been going on for a while. In fact, in 2010 is when Canon acquired OSE. We didn't integrate until a couple years ago. 2010 acquired us. And over a 4-year period of time, production printing grew its business by almost 25% in that period of time. So our growth has been pretty steady year after year. In fact, every year it's grown since 2010 very nicely. That's nothing compared to what we're planning for the next 3 years. And there's a reason for that. It's the technologies that are coming and the organization we're going to put in place. But the management team met, we set our objectives, we had multiple meetings, so it wasn't just dictation from me. And we think we can grow our business by close to 40% total revenue in the next 3 years. Now, I don't know what I was smoking, but I hope my replacement does a great job. But if you look at where we're at, traditionally this is where production printing has played since the days of Siemens. You know, we've been in the transactional arena and the corporate centers and the commercial printers do transactional work. We've been with the direct mailers. But we've been expanding, and we've been moving into book printing. And to some extent in the commercial printers, but we have been limited up until now with our technologies, okay, to be able to fully penetrate these markets. Well, in 2015 and 16, we get the solutions and the products that penetrate these markets. And I'll talk about the ImageStream 3500 and, of course, the Niagara product that many of you already heard about. And then in late 2016 for the United States, we entered the folding carton packaging market with InfiniStream. These are dramatic products, and the ImageStream 3500 30-inch wide machine, okay, is in that $4 million range, okay, and so is InfiniStream. So, you know, you don't need to sell too many of those to make your numbers. So where do we need to grow? Well, we need to obviously continue market leadership in transaction direct mail, but our growth opportunities are with the commercial printers, the book printers, and then later on in packaging. And so here's where we're investing in people, in training our existing people, bringing in new talent into the organization to help us penetrate these new markets, which together are much bigger than the markets we're already in. And the first enabler to that is the ImageStream, which starts getting delivered in Q2 of 2015. The ImageStream, for those of you who don't know, there's been press releases on it. We already have our first order here in the United States with IWCO as well, ordering that machine, and that will be delivered in Q2. But the advantage, 1200 by 1200 DPI at full 525 feet per minute. That means over 19,000 B2 sheets an hour. It prints on the offset coated and uncoated stock, no bonding agent required. Okay, so now think about the paper savings that occur by not having to get inkjet coated or inkjet treated stock. And the transport is built on something that's already proven, which is the Jetstream technology. This product is a 30-inch wide product. It's initially released. You will hear at Hunkler Days for this group. A 20-inch version will also be coming out later this year. So we're pretty excited about this, as this enables us to enter into the commercial print and the book printing market quite effectively. And then Niagara. The first Niagara machine has already been installed in Europe. We had and chose 4 companies to be the early adopters of this product, the LCP customers. Those customers have already placed the orders, and the deliveries of these machines will be again in Q2 to this customer group. And then general release in the 3rd quarter of this year. Now, we have a limited number of machines that will be able to be delivered in the United States. The group knows our internal goal, and that is by the end of this year, we think we'll have 3 times as many orders for this product as we can deliver this year. And in fact, by April 30th, will far exceed, by April 30th this year, will far exceed the annual number that can be delivered. So we're pretty excited about the product. Francis, I don't know if you're gonna talk about how many orders we already have in stock. I don't know if we can release that, but we have quite a few already. These will get in Q2 and then later on for the rest of the year. And that's the one company in Europe, T-Systems. It's already got the first Niagara installed. We get our demo units, by the way, in March in Boca. T-Systems is almost, it's over a $10 billion company, so those are in euros. So they got the first unit, so the product is off to the races. We've already flown customers over to download to see this thing. Interesting comments coming back were bigger than I expected, number one. It's a big machine. Number two, quality is better than I expected, and I thought your price would be higher. I love that last one, but okay. But with all of that, production printing revenue should grow significantly over the next 3 years. In fact, in 2017, I talked about sales productivity. I expect that sales productivity per rep, and we'll have more reps, okay, to be around 3.5 million per rep. So you can see the kind of growth expectations we have in production printing. Now, in large format, also have some growth expectations, and Rob will be held accountable for those now, right? So we expect significant growth here over the next 3 years as well, but we're really unbelievably excited about the performance of LFS in 2014. In a relatively flat market, it grew total revenues by 7%, equipment revenues by 14%. And for the first time in a long time, a lot of you know what happened in technical documentation and decline in volumes. We're starting to grow the recurring revenues again in LFS. Best performing region worldwide. And in technical documentation, in the toner-based arena, #1 market share. This just gives you, we have really 3 groups within a large format: the technical documentation group, display graphics, and then the media and consumables. And in TDS grew by 15% in a relatively flat market. In display graphics, 11%, and our media and toner sales growing. So really nice to see all 3 divisions overperform. Again, these numbers are not end of year. I think I wouldn't be surprised, and this is now toner-based machines, not the inkjet machines. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not 45% better. But we'll have to wait for the final numbers. With the kind of growth we had of 15% in TDS in equipment sales, pretty nice growth in a relatively flat market. Now I want to talk about the future. I expect, again, this was a team effort, a team discussion. Over the next 3 years, LFS will grow by around 25% in total revenues. Now understand, again, recurring revenues is a significant part of that. Why? First of all, in technical documentation, this is the product portfolio in black and white and in color. The PlotWave 500 was introduced in the latter half of last year. It's been unbelievably successful. It's exceeded our expectations, and that will continue this year. But we introduced the ColorWave 500 in Q2 of this year. This is a single footprint with a scanner on top. And we're excited about this product. You'll learn more about that from the group. But and then the ColorWave 900, which uses the memjet technology, was introduced and then really essentially in the latter half of last year. So we expect growth here as well in TDS. In display graphics, I talked about ColorWave 500. There's going to be a ColorWave 700 coming out to address the display graphics marketplace. That will also be introduced in Q2. We have enhanced the quality, we believe, on the 900 to enable us to enter into graphics in many of the applications. And then the introduction of a higher volume Arizona. Now that was introduced and we started shipping just a few machines in Q4 of last year, but really this product is fully released this year, the 6170. That puts us in the higher end of the mid-range or the lower end of the high volume range for flatbed. But that's just the beginning over the next 3 years as we start introducing new products in 16 and 17 to address in display graphics arenas that we're not in today. So we tend to be in the mid-volume flatbed arena. We're not in the roll-fed, for instance. You will see movements in those areas in the coming years, and that's why the optimisms grow by some 25% in LFS. So now, in order to do that, in both PPS and LFS, we can't go back to the same customers. I was talking to somebody last night, I won't mention who, that said one of our competitors tends to constantly churn. Well, that's great for equipment sales, but it doesn't grow your recurring revenue. And in order to grow the recurring revenues, you need new business. In PPS, we talked about commercial printers, book printers, okay, and eventually folding carton, the packaging market. In large format, we're talking about going after the corporate CAD GIS. We've been very strong in the reprographics community historically. We will continue. We've made nice progress. We'll continue to go after large corporations and corporate CAD GIS arena. With the commercial printers, and I think with the commercial printers, you're going to see a lot of synergy going forward between production printing and the large format group. As our inkjet technology and production printing enters commercial, we work together and become much more relevant to our customers. And especially the new Arizona 6170 helps us here. And believe it or not, we're starting to enter the packaging market with flatbed. And so those growth areas for us in large format enable us to have this kind of growth in the coming years. So we're pretty excited about both divisions. And Rob, you're held accountable for that. So and with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Francis McMahon. He's a total stranger to all of you.